How are you, my dear students? Today we are going to explain our story Don Quixote and the Windmills. Before we start our explanation, we have some new vocabs from page 336 till page 345. At first, I prefer to explain the vocabs and first, then we start to study the story. Pay attention to me at first. The first word that we have in page 336 and 337. The first word that we have armor. Armor. What does it mean? The uniform of soldiers in the past. See what it means? Armor. Armor. The uniform of soldier in the past. Second one that we have is called Ogre. Ogre. Ogre means what? Monster. Ogre, monster. Again, ogre, monster. Third one that we have sorcerer, sorcerer, sorcerer. It means a man with magic powers. Sorcerer, a man with magic power. Sorcerer, a man with magic powers. Damsel, damsel, a young woman who is not married. Damsel, a young woman who is not married. Waffle, waffle, very sad. Waffle, very sad. Gallant, brave. Gallant, brave. Tumble, tumble, fall suddenly. Tumble, fall suddenly. The next word that we have is called volume. Volume. A book that is a part of a series of books. Volume. A book that is a part of a series of books. Let's move to the next slide with vocabs. Household. Household. All the people living together in a house. A household. All the people living together in a house. An attic. An attic. A room for storing things. An attic. A room for storing things. Shield. Shield. A large piece of metal or leather carried by soldiers to protect him. Again, shield. A large piece of metal or leather carried by soldier to protect him. This is in the past, okay? Visor. Visor. A movable part of a helmet. Visor. A movable part of a helmet. This part, as we can see, for the helmet of the soldier in the past, it was in this way. This part is called what? This part is called visor. 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 Then that is it of the soldier. In the past, this part is called what? Visor. Visor. Visor, a movable part of a helmet. The next word that we have is conquer. To take control of a country or a city. Conquer. To take control of a country or a city. The next one, crack brain, crazy. Crack brain, crazy. Again, crack brain, crazy. Pledge, pledge. Promise to give. Pledge, promise to give. Let's move to the next slide. Requesting, it means rename. Requesting, it means rename. Again, requesting, rename. Enchantment, enchantment. A feeling of great pleasure. Enchantment, a feeling of great pleasure. Devotion, devotion. This one, as we can say, devotion, devotion. Again, devotion. What does it mean, devotion? Or sorry, we can say devotion. Devotion, what does it mean? Great love or care and support. Can you say it again? Devotion. Again. Devotion. Devotion. Great love, care, and support. Again. Devotion. Is that correct pronunciation? Devotion. Great love, care, and support. Next one. Dawn. Dawn. The time of a day when the light first appears. Dawn. The time of a day when the light first appears. Younger. Younger. Over there. Younger. Over there. Gallop. Move quickly. Gallop. Move quickly. Pillow. Rise and move. Pillow. Rise and move. The last slide for the vocab that we have in this study. Scorn. Scorn. A strong feeling that someone is stupid. Scorn. A strong feeling that someone is stupid. Pairs. To make a small hole. Pairs. To make a small hole. Hurtle. Hurtle. What does it mean? To move very fast. Hurtle. To move very fast. Villain. Devil. Villain. Devil. Yell. Surrender. Yell. Surrender. Bewitch. Attract. Bewitch. Attract. Mighty. Powerful. Mighty. Powerful. These are all the vocabs, or most of the difficult vocabs that we have in our reading text for the story from page 338 and 36 till page 345. Okay, this is all the vocabs. And now we are going to explain our story Don Quixote and the Windmills. For our story is talking about someone who is called Mr. Hamada. At first he was fond of reading. He was reading too much. One day he was reading a book about Don Quixote. Don Quixote was a famous knight in the past. Mr. Hamada started to imagine himself like Don Quixote, and he said for his household, I am Don Quixote. After reading this book about Don Quixote, the real mind in the story that he read. Then he started to imagine himself that he was Don Quixote, the famous knight. So he decided to fight the windmills. Why did he start to fight the windmills? He imagined the windmills like a giant monster with 4 arms. So he decided to fight it. He didn't go alone to fight the windmills. He take with himself his friend Sancho Panza. He considered Sancho Panza as his squire to fight with him the windmills. Did Sancho Panza accept what he said? Sancho Panza tried to persuade Don Quixote that they are windmills, not giant monsters. But Senor Quixada, or Don Quixote in the story, as we said, he insisted on that they are giant monsters. His brain started to be affected by reading this story about Don Quixote, so he started to imagine himself that he is Don Quixote, the famous knight. He offered for his friend Sancho Panza. He offered for him that if he came with him to fight the windmills, or as he saw them like giant monster, he will make him as a king, and his children will be princes and princes. So Sancho Panza accepted his offer. Then he saw a pretty girl whose name is Alonza Lorenzo. Don Quixote, or Senor Quixada, thought to marry her in the future after he achieved his victory on the giant monster as he imagined the land hills. Now let's listen for the story to understand more.
Question of the week. How can stories from the past influence our imaginations? Genre. Classic historical fiction is fiction that is written about a time in the past. As you read, look for clues that indicate this story takes place in another time period.
As I said, the genre of the story is what is classic historical fiction. What does it mean? It's a mix or a combination between imagination and fact. As it is described here, it's fiction that is written. It's fiction that is written about a time in the past. So as I said, it's a combination of imagination and fact. I said Don Quixote. This is a Spanish name. So I said
Don Quixote and the Windmills. Retold and adapted by Eric A. Kimmel. Illustrations by Leonard Everett Fisher.
Now let's move for the story. Okay, make it bigger to be able to see one. Here, let's see.
Are you one who loves old stories? Does your heart beat faster when you hear tales of knights in armor, of castles and dragons, of ogres, sorcerers, and damsels in distress?
In the first paragraph, as I said, are you one who loves all the stories? Does your heart beat faster when you hear tales of knights in armor? As we said, armor means what here? Means the uniform of the soldiers in the past. Or castles and dragons of ogres, ogre means what? Monsters. Sorcerers, it means a man or men who work with what with or who has a magic power, Damsel, as we say, explain the vocab, it means a young woman who is not married. This word, as we said, when we explain the vocab. Now let's move to the next paragraph that we have in this story.
Beware, those tales can drive you mad. It happened to a certain Spanish gentleman who lived 4 centuries ago in the province of La Mancha. Senor Quixote was his name. He had a tall, lean figure and wore a woeful expression on his face, as if his heart held some secret sorrow. Indeed, it did. Senor Quixote longed to live in days gone by, when gallant knights battled for the honor of ladies fair. Books of their adventures filled his library. Amadis of Gaul, the mirror of chivalry, and the exploits of Esplandian were but a few of the volumes that tumbled from his shelves.
Our question here about this bird. What is the setting of this story? What is the setting of the story? If I ask about the city here, it would be, yes, the province of La Mancha. The province of La Mancha. This is the setting of the story. As I said, Senor Quixote was his name. So, his real name was what? Senor Quixote. He started to describe him, he had a tall, lean figure and wore awful expression on his face, means that he always seemed that he is sad on his face, as if his heart held some secret sorrow, sadness inside his heart. Indeed, did Senor Quixote longed to live in days gone by, when gallant minds battled for the honor of ladies' fairs. This book that we told us about books of adventures that we have. He gave us many names about this book. Now let's move to the next paragraph. So as we said, what is the theme of the story? The province of La Mancha. Let's move together for the next paragraph. Let's listen.
Senor Quixote buried himself in these books. He read all day and far into the night until his mind snapped. Senor Quixote is no more, he announced to his astonished household. I am the renowned knight and champion Don Quixote de la Mancha. In the attic, he found a rusty suit of armor, his grandfather's sword, a round leather shield, and an antique lance. His helmet was a foot soldier's steel cap that lacked a visor. Don Quixote made one out of paperboard and tied it on with ribbons. It would serve until he won himself a proper helmet on the field of battle.
In this part, as I said, Senor Quixote buried himself in these books. It means that he was fond of reading. Let me, yes, let's make this part bigger to be able to see it. As I said, Senor Quixote buried himself in these books. It means that he was fond of reading. He loved reading. He said he read all day and far into the night. As we said, until he imagined himself that he is Don Quixote. He said, I am the renowned knight and champion Don Quixote de la Mancha. As we can see, this language is Spanish. Okay, de la Mancha is Spanish word. He started to collect his things to start to find his windmills as he imagined them like giant monster. So he collect what here? He collect his, as he said, his grandfather's sword, a round laser shield, and an antique lance. His helmet was a foot soldier's steel, so we can apply for this paragraph. And if I ask a question here, what are the things that Don Quixote prepared to look like a hero, as we said, and his grandfather's sword, a round laser shield, and an antique lance. His helmet was foot soldier's steel cap that lacked a visor. As we said, this is called the visor. This part of the helmet is called what? Visor. It's called visor. Visor. This part of the helmet is called what? Visor. I hope that you understood this paragraph. For things that he collected, as we said, we need to highlight for this part inside our book for this paragraph. Okay? Now let's listen for the next paragraph.
A knight must have a noble steed. Don Quixote owned a nag as tall and bony as himself. He named the horse Rocinante, which means nag no more. A knight must also have a squire.
So what was the name of Don Quixote or Senor Quixote's horse? What was the name of his horse? It was what? Rocinante. Rocinante. Okay, this is the answer of the question that I asked now. I said, what was the name of the horse of Don Quixote or Senor Quixote? To be Rocinante. Senor Quixote is the same, Don Quixote. Okay, because as we said, he imagined himself like Don Quixote is a famous knight. Let's complete listening.
A faithful companion to share his quests. Don Quixote invited Sancho Panza, a short, fat farmer from the neighborhood, to accompany him. Come with me, Sancho, Don Quixote said. Within a week, I will conquer an island and make you king of it. That.
So, the offer here, as we said, that Don Quixote asked Sancho Panza to come with him. And what was the offer? He said, come with me, Sancho. Don Quixote said, within a week I will conquer an island and make you a king of it. We can stop till this part and we can complete in the next video for the next paragraph. Thank you for listening.